So today I would like to talk to you about some useful techniques that can help to completely destroy your entire team. So we will look into tiny but effective action that you can make to make sure that you turn your team from a healthy one into a complete bunch of disillusioned and scared individuals. But before we look into these techniques, we need to remember that there are actually three pillars that healthy teams are built upon. And these pillars are trust, motivation, and psychological safety. And if you want to destroy your team, then we actually need to address these three fundamental pillars. Okay, so let's get started. And the first tip that I have for you is keep your directs at emotional distance. So remember that trust is actually built on authenticity. Trust is built when your directs see the human being behind you, even your weaknesses. And if you want to destroy this trust, definitely you should avoid this. And in addition to this, you need to remember that friendliness also makes you human, right? So put your poker face on whenever your directs are around. So don't smile, don't show any emotion. If someone made a joke in the team area, then don't laugh, don't join them, just put a frosty lock on and separate yourself from the group. And what also can help here is to keep the emotional distance, or what supports there is if you're not approachable to them. So try to be as invisible as possible to your directs. So for example, someone comes around and says, hey, do you have 5 minutes? Your answer should be something like, of course, I have a slot next week, Friday, and then postpone the meeting over and over again. And if it comes to decision making in the team, you should make sure that there's only one person who makes the rule, right? And this is you. So you are the boss, and there's a reason why. So your word counts over everything that your directs say. So just make sure that whatever is decided, this comes from you. And as soon as you made them understood that you are the king in the castle, that you make the decision, and then you can actually go to the next level. And this means that you should change your opinion as often as possible, right? So never give them a clear and direct direction. So if you yesterday told them that they should turn to the right hand side, today actually they should move to the left hand side. And in the next step, you need to create an environment of uncertainty where no one really knows who will be the next victim of your bad jokes or snide commands. Try to make them feel uncomfortable and insecure, right? But there's one important thing, take them out one by one. Don't bully the team at once, because then they can turn against you. Let us now come to my personal favorite. This is actually a technique that is not that often seen in real life, but it's super efficient to destroy the psychological safety in the team. And this is yell at them. So if one of the directs makes one mistake, put them to a meeting room, close the door, and then actually get it all out, right? So you really should frighten them. You really should scare them. You should make sure that the next time something goes wrong, they made a mistake, they just try to hide it from you because they are really scared of the reaction that they are going to face then. And the real cool thing about this technique is that it actually can be combined with the next one. And this is actually that you should never apologize. So whatever happens, it was not your fault, right? So never say, sorry, I didn't mean that, or if I was really wrong, I would like to apologize for this. So please don't do this, because this shows weakness. This makes you human, and you should definitely skip this part. And of course, you should not apologize when you don't support your directs, right? So you are not responsible for their career, for their development, or for their promotions. Just keep them on their level, right? If they want to grow, they should buy a book. You should make clear that you are not the go-to person in the team, so don't support them. But this does not mean that you should not promise them everything that they want to hear, right? So promise them promotions, salary increases, even the home office at the Bahamas. Promise them everything, but then don't keep it, right? So broken promises is one of the most effective ways to lose the trust of your people. And if then actually your team ends up to be super insecure, right? And they are super exhausted because they're working for the promotion that they will never get, and they are afraid that they are yelled from you, then you should actually address their mental health, right? So put more load on them until they break. And this is actually the point where I would like to stop, because I don't want you to destroy your teams. It's actually quite the opposite. I just wanted to demonstrate a small but effective technique that can kind of help you to lead yourself better and then consequently lead teams better. And what I observed, and what definitely all of you know, is that leads often question themselves. So real leaders often have a lot of self-doubts. So we ask ourselves, am I on the wrong track? Do I do the right things? Am I a good lead? There are even leads who constantly torture themselves with these questions and don't get any answers to them. And of course, there are actually some techniques that we can do to get some answers and get out of these self-doubts. So we can have leadership feedback sessions, surveys, one-on-one, but all these techniques require some sort of time invest, external input, some preparation. And sometimes even if you get this external feedback, you not always have the proper answer to the topic. And a simple technique is what the simple technique to get out of self-doubts is what I showed in the beginning. Just imagine, what can you do to make the current situation into a complete disaster? So what can you do to destroy your entire team, for example? And if you did this, then maybe make a check-in with the reality. And there's a high chance that you find out that your self-doubts are not valid here. And you can even kind of get some improvement areas or identify them, because maybe you don't bully people like in bullying, right? But have you ever thought about what bullying is? Or have you thought about if you maybe accidentally make people feel uncomfortable? This kind of can give you some insights. And just thinking about what can be worse in a situation actually can help you realizing that you are not such a bad lead, because bad leads will never question themselves, right? So only good leads do this. With this, try this out, and please don't destroy your teams.